live, recorded in the truck.
Yep, somewhere on Highway 60 in Missouri, just like the last episode, but facing the other way.
Headed home.
Yep, we rolled out of Moore about an hour ago. Matt, first off, want to give us props as a team. We broke down and picked up the camper and was out of there in about 35 minutes.
Yeah, we had a good run.
Yeah. If it was a professional sport, Matt and I would at least be pretty decent, like pro-ams.
Yeah, semi-pro for sure.
Yeah. So, Matt, highlights of the trip and lowlights. So prepare yourself. What was a highlight for you?
I don't know. I mean, we sold some stuff, talked to a lot of fun people.
Yep.
Somebody said that and I appreciate this, a listener said that the podcast was edgy.
Right.
I thought, holy crap. We really try to keep this thing rated G, so
Yep.
edgy was not what I expected. But I do appreciate that we're not as far off of our normal selves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, good point. I even hesitate to name people that we got to see because I'm sure I'll forget somebody. 2 days, 8 o'clock or so was vendors in till 6 o'clock plus after hours. But a few I want to give a shout out to. First off, it was great to finally meet Old Truck.
Oh, yeah.
Our friend Phil. He's very supportive on Instagram. Honestly, I don't even know if he listens to the podcast, but he's always commenting and sharing our stuff. A bunch of guys and gals from Toyota, Arkansas Toyotas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people from Arkansas Toyotas there. That was crazy.
And that group, if you don't know, they've got a Facebook group that is huge and very active.
Yeah.
They do trail cleanups, trail rides, like rigs of coffee type stuff.
Yeah, super cool stuff.
But the guy that runs that Craig gets medium GP pouches from us, includes some like star bent screwdrivers, and like every month they do a giveaway amongst their group.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to get to meet members.
Officially meet a bunch of them.
Yeah. And then get some new friends, old friends. Always good to catch up. Brian, Goose Gear.
Yeah. It's good. And Brian's moving the shop to Colorado. Like,
Yeah.
How awesome is that? Getting out of California.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
Not that you get out of California if you like it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Grand Junction. He's already updated the address on their Instagram page.
Wow.
So it's like Instagram official, like a relationship. Yeah.
All right. G official, baby.
Yeah. And then some folks that I've met or at least talked to before. We got to spend a lot more time with them. Was the Moonshade awning and the aeronaut like sleeping quilts.
Yeah. Yeah, the moonshade thing was pretty cool. The quilts were cool too. I'm not, but I kind of have a want to have one of the moonshade thing. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be trying to figure that out here. And the New Holland.
Oh yeah. Wait. I thought that almost deserved its own. Yeah.
May even deserve its own episode.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll come back to that. But yeah, no, Moonshade and Aeronaut, cool companies that were sharing a booth there, doing some cool stuff, and kind of like long and storied in the industry.
Yeah.
But doing their own things. Cool to see that.
love to see neat new products, good designers, and
People that are really trying to like take an existing idea and make it a lot better, or put their own spin on it. Yeah.
Cool.
Versus just being like, oh look, that's a quick way to make a buck. We definitely believe those guys fall into the prior of those two, like doing cool stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Aeronaut Outdoors and Moonshade Fabrication. Thanks to their Instagram.
Yeah.
So we tagged both of them in a post yesterday. So if you can't find them on IG, you can find them there.
Okay, so are we allowed to talk about New Holland?
Yeah. So wait, let's do cons. Least favorite parts.
I don't know that I have any parts. I mean, the food's like
Right.
marginal.
It's at a fairground,
Yeah.
and the concession company has the contract. So
food. There's very little coffee in the morning, and it's bad.
we'll say like they did have some better after hours stuff.
Oh yeah, they did a nice job with that.
Yeah, and it's I think it's kind of segmented. Like we hung out in the campground one night. Last night we were at the after hours stuff up in the exhibit hall.
Yeah.
So it is kind of hard to like mill around in the evenings because it's like kind of spread out. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say it's an accurate statement.
Yeah. So okay, might as well go ahead and hit it. New Holland Overland up in Michigan.
Now, here's the key: you can't order anything until I get my stuff. But
Yeah.
maybe the coolest flatbed really smart. Like,
Yeah.
really smart ideas. A lot of stuff that, I mean, you could look at it and go, oh, maybe it's another flatbed. But if you get into it and you really pay attention
Yeah.
to what he's doing, super smart stuff stacked on top of super smart stuff. Like,
Very Aussie style, like flatbed, low pro flatbed with a box.
yeah,
But-
you don't have to get the box because I would just flatbed.
Yeah,
Flatbed's awesome.
but it, like Matt was alluding to, I mean, I don't even know where to start. It's got your regular cargo boxes that you would expect, like around the fender wells.
Yeah,
But the headache rack is full top to bottom doors on both sides, giving you like a long, skinny.
pass through.
Yeah,
And he had like a 13-gallon fuel tank in there.
and
He had a battery,
Yeah, yeah.
and like he had a water tank or like a hookup for the water tank that's below the bed. It was really, really well done. Just, I mean,
And like you're storing fly rods or Devo slides, like
Yeah.
long, skinny things.
right.
They could live in there full time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was like the headache rack was really smart, and even the drawer in the back was really smart. And the water storage. I mean, all that stuff was just well
Yeah.
thought out, well fit and finish was really good. And this is a dude who just like randomly made his own, right?
Right,
Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
just was like,
A shop of one.
yeah.
He had a kitchen in the rear drawer. Like if you're familiar with some of those, like Mitts and Bowen, where they would have that drawer, like where your license plate's at. He had a kitchen slide out, which was optional, but he had like a really low profile 2-burner stove, a sink, and like maybe some storage. Oh, and some storage. He had some of our utility pouches in there, of course. Yeah, that was really cool. And then he was telling me that the box, if you want to take that off, it's literally 3 bolts on each side,
Yeah.
and then you hook up the 2 jacks on each side. He said conservatively a 20-minute project.
Yeah.
And the interior of that was all like utility track, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it was all Unistrut,
Yeah.
which, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Unistrut. It's kind of what they use to hang wiring and stuff in a lot of commercial buildings, which means there's a lot of adapters that fit in. There's a lot of stuff. So you could just basically, they have these little twist-in things for Unistrut that are spring-loaded. They hold a little kind of nut head to them
Yeah.
that, sticks to the Unistrut. Anyway, really smart. And then you can bolt stuff anywhere, all over it.
Mhm.
Like anything you want to hang. Like even on the bottom of it, he has Unistrut, uses some Unistrut on the bottom as reinforcement for the bed itself. So if you want to hang stuff from the Unistrut on the bottom, you could do it. It was just really, again,
Yeah.
really neatly done, really smart.
I asked him about weight, and he said that when you subtract your bed, add the flatbed, and add the box, you're only actually adding 300 pounds over where you started with a bed.
So yeah, he was telling me that the flatbed itself is no more than the flatbed is no more than the Tacoma bed.
Yeah.
Like on a Tacoma, like the
Right.
flatbed by itself was not more than a Tacoma bed.
Yeah, and there was something else that I was like, man, that's really cool. So on the back, a lot of these flatbeds or a lot of these boxes have like underbed storage. On the back of the box, he has actually got a box built that you can house like your diesel heater in. And so it's just on there on the exterior, yeah. And I feel like there was something else because it was just like everywhere you looked, you were like,
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good idea. There was it wasn't anything that you looked at that you're like, wow, that was really well thought out. Wow,
Yeah.
you made some smart decisions there. Oh, that's such a simple solution to.
yeah. Oh, I know
doing
what it
things.
was. Going back to unhooking it, outside of your 3 bolts and the needing jacks, he said the whole thing, because the way the battery is in the headache rack, is one Anderson connector.
Yeah.
So like you don't have a bunch of wire.
Plus the other thing is your power, like all your power stuff that's in the headache rack, is it's on board all the time.
Right.
So for like me, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like now I've got outbound power on an Anderson connector that's connected to the headache rack. If I'm not using that box, I've got,
Whatever.
I will be using that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would use that for transfer tanks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
No, Jeremy absolutely knocked this out of the park.
brilliant.
He's done some posts on Instagram, but honestly, it was all kind of like preview. Here it is from 10 feet away, and that is not where this thing necessarily shines. I mean, if you want like an Aussie style flatbed and like canopy box that's removable, I think this is by far the coolest thing I've seen. Yeah.
100%.
Oh, I didn't know where you had that. I couldn't see it. Yeah, and we also got to meet plenty of folks, that said they had our stuff. We always appreciate that, telling us how they're using it and things like that. It's always really cool. let's see. So, a few things that we were like, man, we got to talk about this. First of all, Matt has talked about Casey's Pizza a lot on the podcast. As a matter of fact, on the last episode, we talked about a Casey's somewhere out here where the pizza was pretty good and the service wasn't great. But we hit a Casey's in Springfield where we ordered 2 large pepperoni pizzas with extra cheese. Matt, what do you think those pizzas combined was?
It had to be 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I will say 18 of it was cheese.
Right. It was a solid 3/4 inch of cheese.
It was crazy. I mean, they had gone pro.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
They needed like high clearance boxes.
yeah. It was
Like almost rubbing the bottom of the box, on the lid.
it was really good. Anyway, Casey's Pizza, absolutely one of the best gas station pizzas. I will say it's probably a pizza shop with a gas station,
Right.
versus a gas station that has pizza.
Yeah.
But much like a Dandy in Pennsylvania, I'll give you guys credit. The Dandies in Pennsylvania are pretty solid pizza too. But Casey's, I think, rank right up there in my top 1 or 2.
Yeah, no frozen stuff. Like they were making it,
Yeah.
dough, sauce, the whole jam. Yeah. Yeah.
Love some Casey's Pizza. We got to see so riddle me this. We're driving down the road. Giant bank sign.
Like a nice bank.
Nice bank. Yard mode, new building, bank sign on the side of the internet. Giant hole in it. I mean, hole big enough to drive a Volkswagen. Or potentially a small Holstein.
We have a theory. I mean, we are in the flat part of Missouri, and there's a lot of cows. And I've seen Twister.
100%. I'm thinking full twister. It was
Yeah.
a full twister. Cow straight through the sign. If anybody knows what happened to that sign, I'd like to know.
Yeah, it's
I
off.
don't think it was shot. Like, I truly think somebody threw a cow through it.
Yeah,
I mean,
a tornado through it.
that might have been, Mother Nature
Right.
or God or somebody, but they grabbed that cow and pitched her right through that sign. I bet you.
Like cleaned out the interior. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was. It was. There's the other thing I want to know is why are all the armadillos sleeping alongside the road? Because there's something fucked up about this, where we drive past a bazillion occasionally you get one that's splattered, but most of them look perfectly intact, upside down,
Yeah.
on the road, like literally they were scared to death by the Jake brake of a truck. Like, I don't
4
know,
feet
like
from the white line.
right. I mean, it's like they get to the white line, they're just like, boop, and they're over on their back like I'm dead.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing. Like, we had to pass 20 like that were like not smushed.
See, now I'm really hoping that destiny shines down upon us, and we'll see one because we've already seen a few.
Right.
But yeah, I think our first one was probably somewhere West Tennessee. Like those suckers are moving east at a high rate of speed.
Yeah. Well, the ones we've seen have not been moving.
That's true. Right.
They were belly up, literally.
They're trying to attack
you know,
using our interstate system. But
that-
obviously, that's not
working out. I don't know, because I mean, either that or they were sunbathing and napping very, very hard. Because, like, it was a pretty impressive number of perfectly intact armadillos that were upside down.
Yeah.
And, like, perfect. Anyway, sorry. So if anybody knows what happens to them, like, do they get scared to death? And I don't know much about armadillos.
Actually, on a more serious note, if you're a
I mean,
listener,
I am serious about the armadillo thing. I need to
Well,
know.
no, I'm talking
and
about a
I'm
car
serious
accident.
about the cow. The
Yeah,
cow
that's
through
true.
the sign. I need to know that one too.
if you or anyone you know has hit an armadillo, especially in like a smaller car, I want to know what kind of damage it does.
Yeah, it seems like there's a few big ones we saw. Maybe they were a little swelled up, but there's a few big ones we saw.
Like a Honda Civic.
Seems like it could do some damage.
Yeah.
Damage to your Civic.
A couple other things. We did some very Springfield things. But you guys would all be proud. We only went to Bass Pro twice this year.
Twice this year.
Yeah, we went in to grab some stuff we forgot as soon as we got to Springfield. Then we went back for some shopping and dinner the next night. Shout out to the folks that work at Hemingway's at the Bass Pro HQ there.
Yeah,
So,
they do a good job.
yeah, no, it's cool.
I mean, it's a little confused about what dark beer is, but
That's true. Also, we were a little confused.
I've got this lager. It's dark. What? Anyway, so
and it wasn't.
and I'm not a beer snob and don't really care, but it was kind of weird.
We also had an experience where we were like, that never occurred to us. Nice couple were sitting at the table right beside where we were seated, and they were on their way out and made a comment to us. We asked, where are you from? Because this Bass Pro is like very much a tourist attraction.
It's the first one. It's super cool inside if you've never had a chance to go. I mean, like, it's no joke. Like,
yeah,
museums, multiple museums, some paid, some unpaid. Like
everything you could possibly want that Bass Pro carries.
Yeah, everything. And then, more ponds and fish tanks and waterfalls than holy crap. I mean, I can't imagine what the filtration system for that place looks like.
Yeah. But they were like, we're from here, Springfield. And we're like, oh yeah, I guess if you live here, you could just come here and eat.
Right. You could just show up and go to Hemingway's.
Right.
Who knew?
It has its own entrance and everything.
Right, yeah. So you can get on the elevator. You can go right there without no effort.
A bit of an aha moment for us. And then we did hit up Cavender's, which last year was my introduction. Matt wanted to go to Cavender's last year, and since then, like, there's one in Knoxville, there's one near Bristol, but I don't think I had purchased anything at Cavender's until this trip, where I found this at.
Oh yeah,
you'll be seeing more of this. No way you can possibly read this, but it says catching unremarkable fish since '87, and I had to get it because that's me. I've been doing that too.
I've been catching unremarkable fish for a really long time.
Yeah, the same year. Yeah. So I was like, this was meant to be. Kind of was in the market for a new hat, but I never expected anything this good to pop up. So and Cavender's folks always super helpful, and the Cavender's in Springfield is huge. Actually, it's 2 buildings. So really cool store. Another thing that Matt and I were discussing is there were a couple of grenadiers there, including our friend Brian from Goose Gear had his, they're just really good looking. It's like undeniable.
Yeah.
If your design / like taste has possibly been influenced by classic 4x4s for the last 30 or 40 years, you've got to like it. Because it's this weird amalgamation of, like, there's some Defender in there, there's some G-Wagon in there, a lot of those other boxy things, but it doesn't look exactly like any of them. But anyway, I'm terrified because it's a new car company with a BMW powertrain, which, from what I understand, what I've read, that BMW powertrain is actually pretty bomb-proof. I don't know if that's by BMW standards.
You're right.
Like, does a fart in the wind knock it over? But I'm still terrified. But we need these early adopters like Brian and some of the other guys
to find out, because
man, they look.
It's
good.
a neat looking ride. I could totally be persuaded to own one of these at some point. Might even unseat my minivan. Is my towing under 9,000 or 8,000 vehicle.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'll just go ahead and tell you all. The L-Track, which aka the utility belt. That's what got Matt.
100%. No, totally. I mean, when they put L-Track in the door, I was like, these people get me. I was like, I can't believe it. Yeah. They so understand me.
If you're not familiar, front doors, back doors, on the quarter panel, and wraps around.
Yeah.
And this is what gets me, is I love a good 60/40 / 70/30 split door.
Yeah.
That takes me back, and that's there.
Yeah.
They got some really cool stuff, like the roof rack, the way the handles are integrated, and some mounting options.
And there's D-rings everywhere, and there's M8 or M6 bolts all over it. I mean, like, on the inside, like, so many things that you can build, hang, make. Like, you could really do a lot of neat stuff to that truck, really, for pretty low effort compared to what it takes. It was almost built for a builder.
Right,
you know what I mean? Where, I love a Land Cruiser, obviously, but it was not built for guys like me to build stuff on. I mean, you obviously can do it, but the amount of effort that it takes to integrate things to it is tough. The Dodge, it's not really something that you're going to integrate a lot of stuff to without a bunch of effort. And this was like, oh my gosh, there's so many, it's just so many simple ideas that.
Well, I think it's cool too that, like, you've got Goose Gear already has a cool suite of stuff like seat deletes and storage and rear fridge slide setups. The guys from Alucab have got like a pop top conversion already is in the works. I think is should be finalized pretty soon.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
I know Leitner. I think it's Leitner Designs. Have already got some stuff for it. It's cool that there's already some like really established names making something for this thing. This thing is brand new. So
yeah, I'm excited about that. I'd like to get get our hands on one maybe. And so John Rutherford, if you're listening, and
Yeah. Ren.
AJ, anybody that we could play with one for a few days just to see what we can build in it, I think would be interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, just some other folks came to mind after the fact. Friday night, our camp host, who owns the online magazine, does some events, Northology. Thank you for sharing the fire, and when it started raining, your pop top with us.
Yeah.
Paul, Bethany, Radio Chatter, which we had at the shop. They were there with their kind of first big event. Seemed to go well.
The Midland booth. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, we've used their game Radio Chatter, which is like a conversation starter designed for over the radio or around the campfire on the podcast before for topics. But yeah, it was cool to get to hang out with them and be there when they were kind of at their first big event.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, got some fun with them.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of that was fun?
Oh yeah, I mean, outside of the time dilation that happens in the last hour of the last day of an event, it was all pretty good.
Yeah. I would say. So far.
So.
And we're, of course, driving across 60, so there's some time dilation here, too.
Right. I don't know if we're driving across it or if these trees are just on a slider.
Yeah.
Beside us.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but 60 is a painful stretch of road.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, but no, if we forgot anybody, I promise, not on purpose. We were a little fried.
Yeah.
And just kind of like mentally preparing for 6 or 8 hours tonight. We'll be back with one tomorrow.
There's a bunch of neat ham radio stuff that.
Oh yeah.
Ham radio guys that show up there too.
Yeah, like Ham 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, just honestly like a crew of them. It's kind of cool to see another niche interest represented at an event for a niche. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. That's always kind of neat. They always have good ideas.
Yeah.
And the what was the trainer?
Trainer.
The guy that did all the training there, all the classes.
Man, he came and talked to us like first thing. Yep, Aaron. Man, yeah.
Sorry,
Aaron Paris with Switchback Safety came and talked to us like first thing, and he was
kind of organizing the recovery and the
some of the training. We didn't get to talk to him after that because we were like opposite ends, and obviously he was busy.
He was busy doing training stuff, but yeah.
No, for sure. And just a fun event all around. I have to say, this is only our second year. This was its fourth, right? Fourth year?
Fifth? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. So people-wise, it seemed about the same, maybe a little busier, but vendor-wise, undoubtedly.
A lot of vendors. Holy crap.
Yeah. Last year there was hardly an outside section, and this year the outside section was like
big,
easily as big as the two halls were.
And who knew how many trailer manufacturers there were? I mean, I hate to say this out loud, but there are a lot of trailer manufacturers. I mean, this place had a bunch of them. I mean,
I feel like I kind of know some, and I literally couldn't turn around and be like, who?
And I kind of like some of the trailer stuff that's out there, but I've never had enough interest in it to get real serious about I really want to. Yeah, I really want to own this, or I really want to own that.
You've never been as serious as you are about a New Holland flatbed.
No, that's true. Not ever. I mean, there's a point at which I just kind of had some interest in a hiker, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be good. Like shows like this would be good for it because it's not that big and you can stuff a bunch of gear in it, and go to a show, unload it, and then camp out of it. I think there's something maybe to be said for something like that in the future. But plus, I wouldn't necessarily have to haul it with the Dodge, or the Dodge wouldn't know I was hauling it if I did haul it with the Dodge. We appreciate you listening. We always forget to subscribe. And
hey man, if they've already stuck with us,
click a button. I don't know. Comment. That's the key.
Yeah. And if you're the crew that always does comment, tell your friends.
Rate us. That's the other one. Rate the podcast.
If you're on Spotify or any of those, rating us does a lot. We appreciate the crew that religiously has dedicated themselves to commenting on YouTube. Tell your friends. Tell people you don't like.
Right.
Yeah, you'd never have to talk to them again. Just tell them to listen to this podcast and get that negativity out of your life.
Yeah. Make them go away.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks as always. We'll catch you all soon.